Okay, good evening, friends. I wanted to wait a while until I did this video. If you see what I've got going on, then you know I've made a deep dive into the world of high pressure air rifles. Um, Deep dive. I thought I ordered two, and I think six arrived. so uh, anyway, yeah, we won't run out of air anytime soon. But I wanted to give you the lowdown on this guy. This is a Western Sidewinder. I'm not sponsored by anybody, and I'm going to tell you the honest to goodness truth, okay? So you know the price if you've shopped for them. This is a 25 compact. 150 bucks in about 5 minutes and an Allen wrench. This barrel comes off, and you can buy, like I said, 150 bucks. Get the longer barrel, and you no longer have a compact. So if you want to order one of these and you don't want to wait another month, you can find somebody that's selling a compact, buy it, and then get yourself a longer barrel later on down the line. But I will tell you, this rifle is a sub 1 MOA. So it didn't come that way out of the box, but we'll get to that. I want to tell you, though, very accurate, worked flawlessly out of the box. I ordered 2 spare magazines. I bought this gun from Ben at the pellet shop. He had 3, but this was the only one he could sell because the other 2 didn't have spare magazines, or didn't have magazines. I'm assuming someone ordered spare magazines and they ran into the problem that I had. So he ended up sacrificing 2 of them and then waiting until he got another batch in. Just speculation. But very good gun. 9 pounds. Actually, with a magazine in it and fully loaded, it'll be just over 9 pounds. That's with this scope on it. There's not really any additions I want. I do have a mag pull. This is a Magpul 3, Gen 3, Revision 2. Does that sound right? It's a Gen 3. The 4 did not work. It wasn't worth shit. So get yourself a 3. They're not expensive. People say that they're expensive, but I was able to buy this thing at a bargain. And then, of course, I have to have a strap on it right here. That is because everything back here will get in the way. You can't mount it back here. But this Velcro strap works just dandy. And the 4 has got your paratrooper clips on it. So they're very stable. Really nice little 2-point sling. You don't want to go to 1 point with it because the balance of the gun is definitely forward heavy. Now, I got this. I talked Ben into trading me out of the smaller, like a 320 milliliter barrel for this 5 because I wanted the air. I don't want to run out of air, so I got a 5, and it works fine, right? Oh, you can't put the bigger, suppressor on there, or moderator, whatever you want to call it. I don't care. This one works fine. This rifle works fine. Right out of the box, it was ideal. I turned it up, though, right out of the gate. Right here's your regulator valve, adjustable regulator valve. I turned it up right out of the gate. I don't know, maybe 1 full turn, a half a turn, but the cylinder here has the same, almost the same pressure as what my tank has. Ideal. And then you just dial it down here. The change in the magazines, just always remember that that pin right there, that is your rotation center. Your center of rotation on your magazine is here. It's not the center of the rifle. It's the center of that pin right there. When you lock it in, it takes a hot minute. Oil it up, and it'll get better with time. But yeah, it does take a moment to get that traded out, but not a big deal. Just remember, you're paying a premium price, and expect a premium product. Also, with that, expect some premium service. Um, I don't really feel like I got any kind of service at all, and I'll explain that moving forward. We'll set this little fella down here. Like I said, 9 pounds, but accurate, very accurate. Not as fast as your Hatsan, but it's still going to be fully automatic, which I never use. I never use it on fully automatic. I use it semi-automatic, which is ideally what I want. And the fact that the gun is hammerless, the integrated valve is ideal. I like whoever engineered this weapon did a very good job. They could have put the tank toward the rear, but I can see why they didn't. I won't get into that, but solid design. I have a super cheap scope. I threw on here as soon as I got it out of the box. Threw on like a $25 scope I've had in a bucket for 20 years. 2 shots and I was zeroed, and I backed up to 60 yards and I was dead on. I mean, very impressed. Now, the less impressive part. Okay, here is the $150 magazine. This is what comes with the rifle. You'll get 1 magazine with the rifle, and I will imagine that that magazine will be ideal because they do put ammunition in these and fire them. I'm sure once or twice before they show up at your doorstep. But I ordered spare magazines. $150 a piece. I ordered these things. And for pellets, they were fine. No real difference that I could tell, right? Sitting on the bench, shooting. It's not like I got in depth into anything because I assumed since I paid a premium price for a premium product, that's what I got. It wasn't until I tried to load a slug into this magazine that I realized we had tolerance issues. And I'll show you. Now, let me tell you the story real quick. I realized I had tolerance issues. I checked things out, and I believe I documented a little bit, and I let Ben know, hey, we got a problem. I can't fit slugs in. Gosh, I don't have a slug right here, but when you put the slug in, the ogive of the slug on this one, the original, went down like, I don't know, probably 3/4 of the way, maybe a little more, and you just seat it in there and drop the next one, seat it in there. Just took just the slightest little bit of pressure, right? Not much different than a standard pellet. The slugs were just a hair tighter. Now these holes in this magazine are tapered. They're big on the inlet and they're a little bit smaller on the output. That way they don't fall out, right? You don't want them falling out. And then they got this. This goes on the back. This got some neodymium magnets on it, and that guy sits right in there like that. Okay, and that holds the pellets to keep them from falling backwards, or slugs, whichever you desire. Now, when I run into the issue, the spares that I got 2 spares. They were brand new. I think Maria sent them straight from the pellet shop straight to me as soon as they got them. They've been on order and they showed up at the doorstep and they shipped them straight out to me, and I got them. When I put the slugs in, the slugs would only go about halfway in, and I would have to force it. I would have to stand by. I would have to take this guy and put the slug in and force it down with this, like the flat side of it, just to get them in. And I was like, that's too fucking tight. That's not acceptable. That's when I started taking measurements. My original. So I got my handy dandy little pin gauge here. We'll get 2 of them out. I got a 246 and a 247. Okay. So I get my 246. Slides right through. Now this is a 25, right? So 0.25. 0.246 slides right through. No problems. 0.247. Okay. So 247 goes almost all the way through, stops at the end. So that, I'm going to say, it's like a 2 .2468. All right, let's just call it .2468. We got 2 thousandths tolerance on the end, shy of the 247. Not a problem. That's perfect. That's exactly what we need. So I let Ben know, hey, the spares that I got, they're too tight. I can't get slugs in them. And don't ever. I mean, if you want to blame the pellet, that's fine. You can blame the pellet, but you have to do your research and know. Well, Ben never blamed the pellet. He sent me the address to Precision Air Guns. Had me send them out to them. Got me in touch with Jared at Precision Air in the same building with Air Guns of Arizona. And I said, hey, I got some issues. This is what I got going on, and my pin gauge is not fitting into these spares. Do you think you can get me spares? Well, I sent him a picture of the pellets sticking out, of the tight ones. He says, I'll get you hooked up. So here's my 247, right? It won't even start in the spare. This is the spare. The 247 won't even start. Now we're saying that the original, we got 247, we're good there. And then we're tight, 2468 down on the end, right? So we get out the 246 gauge, and look, at 246 gauge, boom, goes right in and stops right at the end. So that one there, the original, .2468, and the spares, .2, is that right? 2468, and these are going to be .2458. So we got 10 thou difference in there. Now I want to tell you that this is the second time around. These will work. These work okay. I'm very content with them. But I had the spares that I got from the pellet shop, and I sent them to Jared at Precision Air Guns. By the way, did not have a pin gauge. I would guess that if you had Precision in the name of your company, you would have a pin gauge. But that's just me. I don't know. But I sent him the spares that I had that were too tight. Right? They had to have been .245, maybe .2450, but they were tight. I sent them, and he sent me two. Just it took a couple days, but he sent two back to me, and I got them, and I immediately put my slugs in, and they fell right through. So if this was the replacements that he sent me, I could just tap it in my hand, and I would have slugs falling out of my hand. They were like .248. They were just too big, and I thought, what the hell is going on? So I reached out to him and I said, look, man, these won't work. These are too big. And he's like, well, maybe you should go somewhere else or shop somewhere else. I was like, well, you sent me a product that's unsafe. If the gun jams and misfires and blows up, it's not on me. And I was like, I'm here to help you. I want to help you resolve this issue, but I also want my stuff to be right. I don't want it to be unsafe. And right now, this gun is unsafe to shoot with these magazines that you sent me. And I guess I convinced him. I don't know. He wasn't very happy about it, but he said, go ahead and send me those back. And I said, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you back the replacements that you sent me that are way too big. I'm going to send you my original out of my working rifle, and I'm going to send you my pin gauge, my 247 pin gauge. Okay, we can do that. So I sent him everything. And it was 10 days later I called, and he answered the phone. I said, hey, I'm just calling to see if my stuff had arrived. He said, oh, I don't know. Nobody's sent anything back to my desk. What are you showing on your end? I said, I'm showing, and this was on Friday. I said, I'm showing Thursday. I said, I'm showing that they were delivered yesterday. Something like that. I can't be 100% sure. It might have been Monday that I called him. Anyway, he said, well, I'll get it back on my desk, and I have a big batch coming in Friday, a huge batch of spare magazines, and I will find one that fits with your pin gauge. Perfect. We're on point. We can do this. So a week goes by. Well, a little more than a week. It was the following Friday. After he had gotten this big batch, might have been Wednesday. It's probably Wednesday. I tried to call, and the phone rang and rang and rang and rang. My goodness, what's going on? And then some guy answered the phone. Shane. Oh, he had to take a couple days off, so I'll leave him a message. I'll put a note on his desk, whatever. Okay, no problem. So Friday I called, and the phone rang and rang and rang and rang. And at this point, I'd been, I don't know, 3-4 weeks without my rifle, which not terrible, but still, you pay a premium price for a premium product, and you kind of expect premium service. Well, I sent a note to Western, and within 30 minutes, Jared was calling me on the phone. I got as close as I can get. Nothing I've got. I checked 100 of them, and none of them are like yours. I guess you got a unicorn. I guess so. I don't know. But just send me what you can. Send me 2 magazines and my original back and my pin gauge, and I'll work with what I got. If you don't have a resolution, I'll work with what I got. And I let Western know all this, and I'm sure Western was the one that got a hold of him and told him to call me. But after that, I haven't heard anything out of Western. I told him, I said, I don't think the problem's resolved, but I'll let you know when I get my stuff. And I got my stuff. I haven't fired anything out of these yet, but I can tell you by pin gauging them and by putting slugs in them that these that I've got will work, which are, what did we say, to 0.2458, right? And the original is a 0.2468. And that's leaving the magazine. So they're going to work, but just be wary when you get spare magazines for this Sidewinder that you may have a problem. Make sure that you can fit not only pellets but slugs. And then I called to kind of give a heads up at the pellet shop, and Ben said that he said that they had 2 different magazines, one for slugs, one for pellets. I don't buy that for a minute, not for a minute. Something happened. There were some tolerance issues with these things, and I would assume that they cast them. This should be a cast product, being titanium, and I don't think they hone them out. But I mean, you can hone them, but I'm not touching any of mine because this is a product that should be under warranty. And if there's a problem with them, Western needs to stand behind it, and Western needs to let people know either yes, we had a problem and we fixed it, or we have a problem and we're still trying to resolve it. I'm sure it'll affect sales, but if you're charging your customers a premium price, you owe it to your customers. You have a responsibility to let them know. So yeah, get yourself a set of fucking pin gauges. If you have a company and it's got precision in the name in it, you better have some precision shit. You better know what's coming out. I know I'm not the only person with this problem. I know I'm not. So if you've had a problem, mention it in the comments and let me know. Let's force them to resolve this. They may have already got it resolved. This may be the resolution, but at least let your customers know, right? That's the way I feel anyway. I hope you guys have liked this video. I hope you like this rifle. If you're questioning on whether buy one or not, I'm gonna say spring for it and buy one, but be wary when you get your spare magazines. I hope you've enjoyed it. Leave me some comments. Let me know what you think. Enjoy your week, and stay safe out there on the range.